What if the world suddenly went vegetarian? And what if vegetarianism may be wired into our DNA by evolution? Stealing, killing, eating, tackling the horrific dog and cat meat trade in Southeast Asia, and shocking examples of the dark side of veganism. Find out more. People choose to stop eating meat for a variety of reasons, including health, religious convictions, or the use of antibiotics and hormones in livestock. Some think it will be cheaper. Others want to help save animals and lighten their carbon footprint, or a desire to eat in a way that avoids excessive use of environmental resources. And some have their own mix of personal reasons for switching to an all plant-based diet. What would happen if everyone stopped eating meat? And how much difference would it really make? Based on a National Geographic blog, eliminating meat from our diets would have many positive effects on both our health and the health of the world. But it might also have negative effects on millions of people. First, let's look at some of the disadvantages of a global vegetarian diet for human health and welfare. Not only will millions of people be out of work, but also cultural identities would be dramatically changed. The BBC specifically identifies nomadic groups such as the Mongols and Berbers who, stripped of their livestock, would have to settle permanently in cities or towns, likely losing their cultural identity in the process. Second, what are some of the potential costs of a global vegetarian diet on biodiversity? Centuries of livestock farming have so shaped the landscape that some livestock may be needed to maintain biodiversity. I'm sitting here in Scotland, where the Highlands environment is very man-made and based largely on grazing by sheep, says one researcher. If we took all the sheep away, the environment would look different, and there would be a potential negative impact on biodiversity. And third, what might be some environmental costs to the global vegetarian diet? Many agricultural regions are not natural farmlands and have nutrient-poor soil. When parts of the Sahel were converted from ranchland to cropland, the result was desertification. Converting former ranchland to forest or grassland would require significant amounts of time, money, and effort. For those who don't know vegan versus vegetarian, what's the difference? Understanding their differences is actually pretty simple. A vegetarian does not eat any animal flesh, such as meat, poultry, or fish, whereas vegan is a stricter vegetarian who also avoids consuming dairy, eggs, and other ingredients derived from animals. As many may have watched, a scandalous incident took place in New York City, USA. Vegan activists who do not want animals to be slaughtered protested with banners and megaphones and tried to make their voices heard. However, the protesters went wild as a citizen ate meat in front of the vegans. The activists reacted, "You are eating meat! You have blood on your hands! Does that make you feel good?" Continued with his words, the person left the scene after a while. The video shared on Twitter received likes and comments in a short time. You might not take it seriously, but some people eat cats, dogs, insects, and literally anything. Stop the dog and cat meat trade in Southeast Asia. This episode is dedicated to banning the trade and slaughter of cats and dogs. Research has discovered 30 million dogs and an unknown number of cat meat being sold at restaurants, slaughterhouses, and markets. The slaughter and consumption of dogs and cats poses a risk to human health in the form of disease transmission, notably rabies, cholera, and trichinosis. In light of the animal welfare and public health concerns, partnership programs such as 4Paws strongly condemns the dog and cat meat trade and supports legislation aimed at banning this inhumane and dangerous practice. But what if vegetarian food is impossible to have? Let me ask you a question. Do you think that any of this, or this have any meat in them? Let's take potato chips for example. It has potatoes, salt, and it has E631 chemicals, which is often made of fish or pigs. Another example, Our favorite gummy candies are just sugar and water, right? It comes as a shock that these candies are full of sugar and pig feet. Gelatin is made of pig feet, cow lips, horse hooves, and more. And they are all hiding in your food. Whoever said that we would be eating insects in the future was right. Natural Red 4, Crimson Lake 4, or just E120 that comes from the body and eggs of an insect, and it's used in various well-known food products. Not only meat products have E120, but also chocolate and dairy products such as strawberry, yogurts, or red fruits. In beverages such as soft drinks, fruit, and energy. Everything, absolutely everything contains E120. And it's pretty sad how much our food industry depends on animals. Why do you think more people are going vegan? Since veganism favors young people and young people use social media in part to find information, the vegan message spreads quickly on these platforms. YouTube and Instagram are full of influencers answering every question imaginable, showing what they eat in a day, and proving that vegans can still live fulfilling and desirable lifestyles. And most importantly, that food can be just as exciting and delicious. As if responding to a challenge, vegan chefs create colorful food that looks as good or better than the classic version. The dark side of veganism. How the diet can be a cover for disordered eating. There is a disturbing trend out there involving an excessive focus on healthy eating. For some, it's not just a trend, it's an illness. The researchers found that vegans and vegetarians scored higher in orthorexic eating behaviors than those who eat red meat. For example, let's talk about why we need to be worried about it with veganism and Instagram. On Instagram, there are beautifully staged meals and side-by-side Transformation Tuesday selfies. Scrolling through vegan feeds, people might begin to regret the lunchtime grilled cheese, or worse, maybe the morning smoothie that might not have had enough kale in it. There are some, however, who eat vegan and think it will solve many more problems. They think it will not only make their bodies healthier, but also make their bodies look better. They think if they are eating so well, they might finally be a healthy person, worthy of love, success, and happiness. When this focus becomes an obsession, it becomes an illness. From fringe to mainstream, how millions got a taste for going vegan. In early years, supermarketers, for example, sticking to veganism was pretty hard going, as so many vegetarian-labeled products contained traces of animal byproducts. But as the lifestyle has moved from the periphery to center stage, more brands and services are putting vegan-friendly offerings in the spotlight. The benefits of eating vegan are continuing to receive more attention, and consumer demand for vegan products. Of course, companies have always been eager to jump on new trends. These days, introducing or expanding a vegan offering is not only the ethical thing to do, but also a smart business decision. Major chains are starting to get on this trend. Everything vegan you can order at Dunkin', from breakfast to drinks. Dunkin's Beyond Meat breakfast sandwich quickly became the second best-selling item in its Manhattan stores following its release. The most important question in the world, does Dunkin' have vegan donuts? Vegan donuts may soon be coming to Dunkin'. Pizza Hut continues its expansion into dairy-free and vegan options with the addition of 3 new options at locations across Germany. The chain said in an Instagram post on June 29th, "It is time! Pizza Hut goes vegan!" KFC finally launched Beyond Fried Chicken at its 4,000 locations nationwide. The new Beyond Fried Chicken was created in partnership with vegan brand Beyond Meat to replicate KFC's famous fried chicken, but without animal products. Furthermore, Burger King is committed to reaching its ambitious target of making 50% of its menu plant-based by 2030. Starbucks, for example, found that almost a fifth of its customers are choosing plant-based milk for their coffee drinks. Too many questions around, are some people born vegetarian? For some people, choosing not to eat meat is a moral and ethical choice. But for others, it may not be a choice at all. Vegetarianism may be wired into their DNA by evolution. Researchers at Cornell University studied hundreds of generations of people all over the world and found that there is a genetic variation that's been passed down for thousands of years, which could very well determine what kind of diet we choose to partake in today. Apparently, many populations based in Africa, India, and parts of East Asia have been eating vegetarian plant-based diets for a long time, which resulted in a genetic mutation, or allele, that likely produces modern-day vegetarians. For example, the existence of the vegetarian allele implies that, for people with this variation, straying from that diet by eating a lot of red meat may make them more susceptible to inflammation, because the enzymes in their bodies were optimized for a different mix of inputs. Dear watcher, is it better to eat meat, go vegan, or something in between? Waiting for your answers in the comments below. If you enjoyed the content of this video, do not forget to subscribe and hit that like button for more. Thanks for watching.